Yo, what's popping? It's me, you know who it is, come on now, the fucking goblin from Lumber. And I'm here to tell you a little something, alright? You know, some fucks told me it'd be pretty nifty if I made some, like, short videos telling little stories that happened to me, so I decided, hey, fuck it, here we are now. I have not much else to say but background information, so let's just head into this shit, dude. Your boy, believe it or not, is an avid medical marijuana user. Shocker, I know, but before I opened up to such a freeing concept, I experimented with a few filthy substances out there. Some cheap ones, easy to get ones, that kind of shit. I don't want to get down and dirty into the details about some of these shitty substances for obvious reasons, but hey, I'll tell you a little something about my most interesting experience concerning them. You ever heard of a little something called Diphenhydramine? Boom. Bam, check it out, bang. Don't know what it is yet, I don't fucking blame you. Who knows what this shit is? Well, here's a quick little science lesson, okay? It's me, Bill Nye the fucking science guy, now let's get into this shit. Alright, so, diphenhydramine is an antihistamine used to treat very minor pain and help with sleeping. It's found most commonly in Benadryl tablets. Those tiny-ass pink fuckers, you know the ones. You usually take around maybe 25 to 75 milligrams of the shit and end up falling asleep or getting a clear nasal passage, maybe a little tired. However, when taken in large doses, 500 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams, a completely different experience occurs. Like, I don't know the logistics behind what happens chemically, like in the brain, and I really wish I did, but the sedative antihistamine takes on the role of a dissociative hallucinogenic substance, causing intense visual and audible hallucinations, delirium, nervousness, etc. You know, the whole thing, the whole fucking circuit. This is all good and interesting, though roughly 95% of people who talk about the substance online said that it would bring about an awful trip, that the hallucinations would be horrific, the delusions would be painstakingly scary, and the anxiety would be so overwhelming that you would never ever be able to stop being afraid, even after the drug completely leaves your system. Someone compared it to signing yourself up for free trauma. This, instead of scaring me away, hey, it made me more intrigued. Knowing full well the risk of it, my dumbass still went to my local gas station at 2 a.m. one lonely summer night in the middle of August and purchased 750 milligrams of Benadryl tablets. I read that it also dehydrates you, and so, hey, you know me, I bought a fucking bottle of water too. Look how smart I am. I sat in my bedroom afterwards all sweaty and out of breath and opened them all one by one with a pair of dull scissors. After about an hour, I had 600 milligrams of Benadryl laying in front of me. I wish I could say I took a deep breath or had second thoughts, but I really didn't. One by one, I swallowed all the tablets and swigged them down with Pepsi or Mountain Dew or some other random-ass soda. I don't fucking remember. I remember 2 of the tablets I actually ate. Like, I physically crunched down on them and it tasted fucking awful. I laid in bed and I pulled up Crunchyroll on my TV. I put on Yu Yu Shiki, which is an anime known for its wacky and nonsensical writing, and just laid back. Remember how I said that 95% of people who talked about tripping off of diphenhydramine had really bad experiences? Well, thank all that's fucking good in this world that I'm part of the 5% that didn't. Within a half hour of laying down in my bed and sitting back down at my desk over and over again, switching between the 2 spots, I was fucking out of it. I kept the other 150 milligrams of tablets in a neat pile on my desk because I was afraid that, like, the 600 milligrams wouldn't be enough for me. But luckily, I didn't need them. The first thing that was easily detectable to me was how fucking drunk I felt. But it was a really weird drunk feeling, though. Like, it felt more heavy. Like my head had fucking cinder blocks attached to it or something. When I moved, I was really off balance. And I tried to, like, sit at my desk and just not move at all. I don't really remember what I was browsing on my computer as Yu Yu Shiki played in the background, but hey, that's to be expected. I don't remember like 75% of the shit that happened to me. Matter of fact, whilst I was in the trip, I would have really bewildering thoughts for like 3 seconds and then instantly forget it over and over and over and over and over again. And this cycle went on for a long ass time, but somewhere in the loop of thought and awkward giggles sitting at my desk, the piece of my drugged out serenity was broken when I heard a very loud and grisly voice scream behind me. "Hey!" it yelled. Petrified, I turned my head and stared over my shoulder at my window, eyes wide and teeth gritted. "Hey! Bitch!" it screamed again. I looked around the room a few times before my eyes drifted back to the window. My air conditioner, I realized. My air conditioner's fucking yelling at me. "Hey!" it kept yelling, over and over and over. I rolled over in my chair to the air conditioner and started saying things back to it. I don't remember what I said, it was probably nonsense, but I do remember I felt really fucking proud of whatever it was I was yelling at him. "Bitch! Fight me!" the air conditioner started to scream back, and before I knew it, I was punching the living hell out of my air conditioner, smashing my fist against it, breathing heavily, cursing and fumbling as I beat the living shit out of this poor household appliance. I laid back in my bed after that with a blanket over my eyes, since the posters of anime girls on my wall started to twist and turn and look weird and alien. It wasn't scary or anything, but it was kind of like looking at a bright light. It's not really that comfortable for way too long, and you just kind of want to stop looking at it. Yu Yu Shiki was still playing, but I was far too gone to even try and pay attention to it, so I didn't. I would momentarily look up and watch it for like a few seconds before covering my eyes again, and then I would just forget what the fuck I just saw, but next to that I wasn't really watching it. I started to hear the sound of Minecraft water underneath my bed, as I opened and closed my hand over and over again since it hurt from beating the shit out of my air conditioner. It was really loud and confusing, and at this point I had no clue that I was on a substance. The idea of it never actually crossed my mind, for all that I know. The Minecraft water continued through the night, getting quieter and quieter as it went on. It was actually comforting, believe it or not, and made me kinda nostalgic and giggly. I was unable to sleep or drift off anywhere, and was pretty much stuck in a limbo space between being conscious and unconscious. Laying in my bed with my blanket over my face, I actively started dreaming while awake. Yeah, doesn't that sound fucking whack? Sadly, most of the dreams I had, however, and there were a lot, I can't really remember anything about, though the few that I do retain stick with me. I thought at one point I was walking down the road with Kermit the Frog, waiting for a bus on a cool summer morning. Then I thought I was in a forest, like following a small owl in a tree. But then, before I could even understand what the fuck was going on, I was in a field of white chrysanthemums. The sky was a clear, dark blue, except for one cloud over in the right corner of the sky. It felt so clear and real that I reached my hand out and took the blanket off my face. Like an imprint, I could still see the field and the sky, but it faded nearly instantly. I just laughed it off and started saying this or that. I remember I would fucking say things out loud a lot during the trip, but I don't remember what the fuck I would say, and I really wish I recorded something, because that would be really fun. Bed afterwards, I stretched my arms upwards towards the ceiling, and they looked extremely unhumanly long. Like, really long. I kept them like that for a few minutes before dropping them and putting the blanket back over my face, but like, I remember just thinking like, what the fuck happened to my arms, dude? At one point after this, I thought I was in my living room looking for a remote, and I kept lifting the couch cushions. Like, I was completely dissociated at this point. I thought I was in a completely different place. I kept lifting like the couch cushions, but more cushions would like appear underneath the cushions every time I lifted them. It was like a constant loop, and so I just gave up, and at one point I fell out of my bed in the middle of the search, and I like looked around, and I realized that like I was in my bedroom, not the living room, and I was like, shit, dude, how am I gonna find the remote now? Afterwards, I went back to the limbo space between consciousness and sleeping, but I don't really remember anything else that happened in it. The next thing I knew, I sat up in my bed, and I was really groggy and wiped out. I looked outside my window, and the sun was rising, and it was a little cloudy. It was pretty neat looking. I just groaned and sat back down on my bed again. Like, I was like, shit, dude, I really just did that. I wasn't really thirsty, which surprised me, but I still drank a lot of the water I had gotten for good measure, because I wasn't sure if I was still tripping or not, and if, like, my senses were deceiving me. I literally said out loud, "Am I good?" a couple times, before looking around my room, and realizing that everything was normal. Yu Yu Shiki wasn't even on anymore. Instead, Crunchyroll's website was sitting on my TV, still and unmoving. I rubbed my face and laid back down again, putting the blanket over my eyes once more and smiling. "What the fuck?" I whispered. "What the fuck?" And then, luckily, I fell asleep. The next day, I threw away all the leftover tablets and vowed to never do it again, for fear that I would get a really fucking bad trip if I do. Since bad trips are super damaging, like really damaging. For those of you who don't know, a bad trip with any substance, they can cause people to kill themselves to end the trip, or bring out long-lasting mental issues that can permanently damage you. I got super duper lucky when tripping on diphenhydramine, like really fucking lucky, and I will never test my luck with something like that again. So yeah, that was it. That's my diphenhydramine trip. I really do not recommend doing or ever trying this, because of the damage that it could do or cause. Also, an overdose of any antihistamines could just straight up kill you, so like, please don't be as stupid as I was. This was years ago, like way before I could ever even imagine like just getting marijuana from a dispensary like I do now, and being safe and normal and being a fucking sensible human being. I just wanted to feel something, I think. I like to experience something fun. Over the past few years, I've learned that this is like actually one of the fucking dumbest things I've ever done, and I could have genuinely gotten myself killed. But hey, you know, hey, at least we got this fucking story out of it. Hey, listen. If any of you fuckers found this shit interesting, hey, give me a comment, okay? Listen, tell me you enjoyed it, my dudes. I have a lot of these really fucking weird stories to tell, and, like, I would love to tell them, because I think these videos are gonna be really fun to make. So, hey, listen, if any of you want to hear more of this shit, dude, you gotta let me know. Listen, the next story I have in plan is, my friend and I, well, let's just say she and I were devious enough to hack our school's website and rearrange it to our pleasure. And, let's just say it had a lot of consequences, but, yeah, that's all now. I hope you enjoyed. Alright, bye!
Oh man, dude, look at the fucking rabbit.